Hello. Today I'm going to have a crack talking about, or answering maybe, the hard problem of consciousness, right? I don't think I'll be able to answer the hard problem of consciousness is essentially, why do we experience qualia as we do? So why do we experience a particular frequency and bandwidth of light as red? See, that's the hard problem in a nutshell, pretty much. To kind of set up the problem, there's a thought experiment that you can do. You can imagine a girl or a man, doesn't matter which, is in a room, and this room is entirely black and white, and they learn everything there is possible to know about colour, but they never experience it. So they know the exact bandwidths, they know about how light behaves, they know all the scientific facts about colour and light and stuff like that, but they never experience it. And so when this person steps out of the room and experiences the world of colour, it'll be a new experience, a new thing that they could not have gained through any of their prior insight. Another reason why this is a problem is because a lot of people are trying to reduce mental phenomena down to physical phenomena. And by physical phenomena there, they don't mean the objects you see and are aware of. They basically mean certain features and certain kind of characteristics that objects can have. And so what they're trying to do is they want to explain how consciousness can arise from brains, and they want to explain it using purely physical terms. And in a sense, it seems to be impossible. But this comes down to a problem, not with the area itself, but with what explanation actually is. So, if by explanation you mean being able to tell somebody what happened before something else happened, or what caused something else to happen, then yeah, you can explain stuff. But why does a particular cause have a particular effect? And that's the issue here. So in like science, you ask a scientist a question or a physicist a question, such as, why do apples fall to the ground? And he will say, because of the law of gravity. And gravity is basically just a statement which says objects of mass attract each other. It doesn't tell you why they attract each other. And the scientist has many equations and formulas which describe the rate at which they attract each other. So you've got Newton's famous inverse square law. But if you ask the question, why do objects of mass attract each other, he shrugs his shoulders, he doesn't know. The scientific description just goes to noticing patterns that regularly and consistently occur, and using that noticing of a pattern to create machines in the future to make predictions. It doesn't account for why it is so. So in this sense, there is no hard problem of consciousness. It's just when you activate C fibres in the brain, that correlates to the experience of pain in the subject. You can never know why that exact stimulation of the brain causes that exact kind of mental phenomena. It just does. Just as you can never know why gravity behaves exactly as it does, it just does, and we can notice that. Or say with gravity, so initially you had Newton, and he noticed it on a superficial level. So he was able to say that, this is what happens, the inverse square law applies, and it describes how objects of mass attract each other. You know, the closer they get together, the stronger the pull, basically. Or the closer they get together, the quicker the rate at which they get closer together. And then Einstein comes along, and he offers an explanation for this now superficial phenomena. He says that the reason why objects of mass attract each other is because objects of mass cause space-time to curve, and you then have that famous image of a kind of sheet of paper with a ball on top of it that causes it to dent down, and then other objects go around it. But then this explanation that Einstein gives actually has more problems with it than the Newtonian model does, in that you've now got to account for why do objects of mass interact with space-time as they do, and then why do other objects of mass travel along space-time as they do. You've got a new set of relationships to explain. So there might be a deeper explanation for the hard consciousness problem, but that explanation is going to have the same problem. It will just produce, when you try and explain one set of relationships by reducing them to a couple more fundamental set of relationships, those relationships you reduce it down to require explanation. Yeah, I'll do more on this subject in the next coming videos. Goodbye.